With liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, please?
Buddy?
Here.
Strongo? Moretto?
Here.
Tupper?
Here.
Dowski?
Here.
Duff?
Here. Give me a sec here. Grab the wrong paper. All right, correspondence, I don't have anything. Approval of minutes from October 15th, 2024.
I'll make a motion that we approve minutes as presented.
Second by
Kathy.
Kathy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries.
I'd like to make a motion that we add a agenda item 9A to address Mitchell Trongo's membership to this board.
I will second that motion. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, so we will deal with that at the latter part of the meeting. All right, presentation of the cases. First case, this is ZBA case 25-742, Jeremy Stevens, location of the property, 925 Lucille, Wolverine Lake, Michigan. Basis for the appeal, 1250.07, subsection 7, building bulk limitations. Any individual detached accessory building cannot exceed 750 square feet with a maximum of 2 detached accessories. Buildings allowed per lot, 1280.02, subsection A, section 1, section A, we need to have more sections there. Type, size, and quantity permitted. A, building, 1, single-family resident unit, 1 garage, carport that is securely anchored to the ground, and/or large storage building which shall not exceed 1 story or 14 feet in height, nor A, a single-family unit exceeds the ground floor area of the residential unit located on the same lot or 750 square feet, which is ever less. Existing detached accessory building is already 880 square feet, and the homeowner has added an additional 20-foot by 12-foot structure onto the building without permit. Mr. Stevens, are you here?
Yes. I make a motion.
All motion to open case?
Motion to open ZBA case 25-742.
Second, Kathy, all in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Stevens, you have the mic. Tell us your name and address, and
Jeremy Stevens, 925 Lucille.
okay, so what happened?
I just didn't know you need a permit for a little awning over a thing. It's just sitting under. It's not getting enclosed, nothing. When I first moved in there 20 years ago, there was a hillbilly one in there I took down because it was falling down. Didn't know.
Okay. Now, you were in front of us in 2023, correct?
Yeah,
To get the approval of that
for the garage, to raise the roof on the garage.
Okay. All right. Okay, just want to verify that. Okay, anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, it's mostly, for my son, because he can't be in the sun, because he has a bad epilepsy. He can't get overheated and stuff.
I'm sorry, he has what?
A bad epilepsy.
Oh, okay.
So he can go outside. So
Okay.
that's mostly what it's for.
Okay. All right, very good. Have a seat. We'll probably ask you some questions. Would anybody in the audience like to speak on behalf of this? Meaning you're in favor of keeping this? Is there anybody in the audience like to speak against this? I see that nobody has come forward, so we'll close to the public and open to the board for discussion. So, just so everybody remembers, the applicant came in front of us 2023 to ask for the garage to be, for the roof to be approved. We did unanimously approve that. Based on the pictures that I see and based on the site visit, looks like something was added to the back of that. Am I correct in that statement? There was a pad that was poured?
Yeah, there was a small pad there. I poured a pad.
You poured an additional pad?
Yeah.
And this is now anchored to the ground?
It's anchored to the pad. I got a rat wall footing all the way around.
And then you've anchored this to the garage?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, just so we have the correct facts. All right, so everybody knows what we approved, and everybody knows what he did. So, questions, conversations?
Well, I have a question. On the drawing, it shows that there's a gap between the house and the garage, but now there's an area that's been added on to the back side of the house that now connects the garage to the house. And it's not showing on the drawing.
Where are you seeing that?
I saw it today.
Did you saw it when you went to the site visit? Is that what you're
On
saying?
the site visit,
Okay.
right. I have a picture on my phone if you want to see.
Sure.
So this area with the window and the man door?
Yeah, I can see that. I can see
think
that.
that's added. You can see the split in that. And then if you look on the other side of the house, it doesn't go all the way across. It goes about, I don't know, 10 feet across the back?
I wondered about that, because it looks like it, from the front, it looks like it's part of.
Thank you.
That was there when we moved in.
Yeah, when we moved in.
It used to be a carport, somebody enclosed it. All we did was put the stucco on it.
To match the house.
To match the house. It's been there for,
We've been
it's
there
been
19
stuccoed
years.
for, I mean, since we did the house.
Before. This arose at the last
6 years, 5, 6 years.
hearing.
Yeah.
It was addressed then that it was not it's still an accessory structure. That didn't render it
That
to
has
be.
nothing to do with what
To
I'm
be
doing now.
attached, so it's
Correct.
not considered an attached garage even though it's attached to the house?
Correct, I believe that's what the ruling, or what the decision
What
was
you
at the
see there,
last
that was always
hearing.
there when I moved in. The only thing we did different is the stucco and the new roof on the house. And I had all permits for all that stuff.
So what would make you think that what you did here wouldn't require some type of permit, though? I mean, you seem like you're a pretty handy guy,
No, it just, they say you can buy a gazebo and sit in the middle of the yard.
but a gazebo is
You
not, is a gazebo is a structure that can be moved, be taken down.
Yeah, I understand.
It's a piece of
Why buy
furniture,
something
basically.
For $2,000, $3,000 that it ain't gonna last.
No, trust me, I don't disagree
Yeah.
with you, but I'm saying from this perspective, you kind of put us in a bad spot here because we did honor what you wanted us to do, but then you went ahead and did extra stuff, which
That was even after it was all closed
I
down.
completely understand that, but this was added, and you have to know that this would require a permit.
I swear to God, I didn't, I mean, because it ain't getting enclosed, I didn't think,
Right.
there's no electricity out there, there's no nothing.
I understand that.
That's why I didn't think you needed a permit.
Well, I mean, permits are, you can get down to the nitty-gritty with permits. I mean, frankly, you get down to plumbing, you need a permit to replace a toilet if you really
I
wanted to get,
understand that, but I-
if you were like get technical, but, I don't think the village goes that far, but I mean,
Said
this,
I didn't need one for a gazebo to put in the middle of the yard. I
'Cause-
just said spending $2,000-3,000 on a gazebo won't last 3 winters. I just put it there, and that's the
Completely
same amount of money,
understand.
and it'll last forever.
no, sir, I completely understand what you're saying, and I'm not saying I disagree with you on that
Yeah.
point. But I'm saying, you went ahead and built something without a permit, and now we're in a point of saying, okay, how do we work with this, or we don't work with this, and then potentially you could be forced to tear this down. The board likes to try to work with the residents as best we can, because we are all residents in the village,
Yeah.
but you've put us in a really tight spot here.
I understand.
So we're going to try to figure something out, I hope, but, this is what it is.
Yeah.
This is clearly on the applicant of not pulling a permit.
I mean, if I
Discussion.
was wanting to get away without a permit, I'd finished it in one weekend.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I'm not saying that you had bad intentions or malice or
No,
anything
not at
like
all.
that, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
Right, it is what it is.
So, all right. Mark, questions? Ladies, questions?
I know that we have, like, the ability to write in stipulations to any kind of approval
We
and
can,
things like
absolutely,
that.
sure we can. Sure, absolutely we can.
I mean, like I said,
If I need you, I'll come back to you.
Just to clarify, conditions, you can condition any variance that you may grant, but it has to be reasonably related to the request, of course.
Well, I know in other ones we said where there was an extension that was built and they said that wasn't something that would be allowed to be enclosed, that we put a condition that it would not be enclosed.
Correct.
Correct.
100%, yes. I mean,
No electrical or plumbing or things like that added to it.
this just comes down to, do we work with the person knowing that something was done without a permit?
Right.
Or do we go the other way and say,
The letter of the ordinance.
the letter of the ordinance says, you didn't get a permit for this. We haven't had any inspections on any of this.
And it probably would not have been passed as a
And
variance likely.
if I may, no, it comes down to you need to follow the standards of the law for granting a variance, is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Just to make that clear.
Right.
If you guys have nothing else, then we can go over our checklist. On the checklist.
So just on that same topic of the fact that the drawing doesn't match to the current construction of the house.
Yeah, what they submitted in '23 is not what's there now.
Right. If we're entering a new document as a record of this variance, shouldn't it also reflect what's currently there?
It's a valid point. Can only go by what the village has provided us. You know, we can stipulate some stuff to where it's connected to a specific drawing. We can table this and ask for a specific drawing to come back to be able to make a decision. To say we would want this on a survey, for example, and of what they had there than what they've added. So we have dimensions, because right now I don't believe we have any dimensions. So,
So what you're saying is this drawing is not accurate.
doesn't appear to me.
It's not accurate.
Can we ask the applicant about that?
What's that?
Is this accurate to what you have at your house right now? It's including this.
No.
I-
This is the front porch, because I got permits to do the...
No, porch isn't an issue.
No, we put the roof over the front.
Yep. So
That's
this,
not on there.
this is here, right?
This right here, this is what I added.
Right. This.
The only thing.
This is this.
Yes.
Okay. No, you do have dimensions. This looks like it's, do you know the dimensions? It's 20 by 12. Okay, 340 square feet. So we do have dimensions. It's 20 by 12.
You're talking
So
about,
this is
add-on.
this is the bump out.
no, I'm talking about this part of the house.
That part of the house we're not talking about. We're only talking about this. That's all that's all it's been brought to us.
And it's been determined as part of this request for the variance by the building official that it is in addition to an existing detached accessory building that is already in excess of, correct, it's already non-conforming. So the determination has been made that it is a detached accessory structure. And that's what the variance, the description of what the variance is that they're asking for.
Okay.
It's
I
in
just thought with it not being accurate to what's currently there, it needed to be updated to go into the official.
Well, you're saying
record.
about this section right here.
I'm talking about the addition
I
on
see
the
what
back of
you're,
the
I see what
house.
you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't disagree with you, but that's not what they're asking us to do.
Correct.
Is it not accurate enough that you don't feel you can make a decision based upon what
No,
has
I
been
just felt like
provided?
if we were entering something as an official record on this, that it should be correct to what is currently there. It is not shown. That part behind the house that connects the house to the garage is not shown.
Well, will that hinder your making the decision in this case? I mean, are you requesting that you feel to make a decision, you need more information or not?
No, I just wanted your clarification that it did or did not need to be correct to the current situation.
Well, I guess I don't know exactly what's missing, but the portion that they're asking for, which is the addition to the rear,
Here to here.
Correct,
This
but-
isn't showing us connected.
Yeah.
is depicted
Yeah.
properly with the dimensions as described in the variance request. So I think it's
This is, but what she's saying is from here.
correct, I get it.
Got it, okay.
Yeah,
I just wanted to make
thank
sure
you.
you're
Yeah.
clear. Sorry.
Okay. I know they're not asking for approval for
Right.
that part. I just thought.
But are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as you're okay. You're the attorney, so.
Yeah,
Let me clear. She's the attorney.
She's,
I'm
yeah.
well, we don't,
That is-
She's the attorney.
I mean, I don't think it's not in the area, yes, it could be clarified more, but if the building inspector, has reviewed this when it was submitted as part of the variance request. And again, the variance that they're looking for is in the rear of the lot. It's really not reflective. I mean, unless they will require, which they do not, a sealed survey. You know, that's not required in these cases, so I'm sure
I think we're good.
a minor.
Okay, you want to go through the checklist, guys? Agree or disagree that the special or unique conditions and circumstances exist which are peculiar to the land, structure, or buildings involved, which are not generally applicable to other land, structures, or buildings in the same district?
Disagree.
Disagree.
Does anybody agree with that?
No.
Agree or disagree that the rule interpretation of the provision of the zoning ordinance would deprive the applicant of the rights commonly enjoyed by other properties in the same district under the same zoning terms, and the variance is the minimum necessary?
Disagree.
Disagree.
Does anybody agree there?
Disagree.
Patrick?
I disagree.
Agree or disagree that special conditions and circumstances do not result from the actions, they are not self-created? Well, I think we pretty much answered that one. Do we all agree that it was self-created?
I do.
Yes.
And if I may, sorry to interrupt a little late here, on
1 and 2?
some of the others, your reasoning behind why you don't think there are any unique conditions or circumstances.
Despite the building being non-conforming initially, the structure was added on without a permit.
Yeah, I just think it all comes back down to the non-permitting. Wish our building inspectors had a question. It is what it is. Agree or agree the granting of the variance will be in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this ordinance? I'll agree with that one.
Sure.
Ladies?
I'll agree.
Where are we?
Oh, 4.
Are we going back to reason 4?
4. You know, I've seen stuff like this approved in the past. I don't think it's harming anything. I don't think it's hurting anybody. I just think it comes down to the fact of, I'm going to take the gentleman at his word that he wasn't quite aware that a permit was needed. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I see stuff like this in the village a lot.
I don't disagree with you. My only concern is if someone comes and says, I want to build an 1,100 square foot building,
Where does it stop?
where does it stop? Why am I different than this gentleman?
Again, you're not wrong. Patrick, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck.
It's okay. That's why we're talking it out.
Yeah.
So I'm putting you down for disagree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a disagree.
I would disagree.
I don't think it's in harmony with the intent of the variance. As much as I hate to say that.
What do you think down there?
It's not an enclosed structure, and so I would say I agree. It's not harming the neighbors.
All right, Patrick, where were you on this?
I disagreed. I don't think that it's harming the neighbors necessarily, but as it relates to the integrity of the ordinance, I guess,
Yeah,
that's
I
just
agree with that point.
kind of where I'm at.
All right, so I've got 2 agree and 3 disagree on this one. So the people that are agreeing are saying it's not harming neighbors, and the ones that are disagreeing are stating that
It doesn't go along
it
with the
doesn't go
intent
with
of the ordinance.
The intent of the ordinance. Is everyone okay with that?
Which is to limit the size of detached buildings.
5 agree to disagree the variance will not be injurious to the neighborhood or otherwise detrimental to the general welfare.
I agree.
I think we all agree.
I agree.
Agree or disagree the spirit of the ordinance shall be observed, public safety secured, substantial justice done.
Sure, I'll agree.
Does anybody disagree with that?
No. Agree.
Yes, we all agree?
Yeah,
I agree.
Okay.
All right, I make a motion that we approve ZBA case 25-742 at 925 Lucille, based off of 5-6.
We have a motion, I'll second the motion. Do we have any discussion on the motion?
Is now the time that we would discuss any type of conditions?
Correct. So if this gets approved, my condition would be is this will never to be enclosed. This will never have electricity run to it. This will never have plumbing run to it. And the only thing they can do to it based on this picture is put some siding maybe on the front face for a little bit more cosmetic. Fascia. There'll be no insulation added to this. This will be a true outside covered porch.
And has our building inspector inspected it or looked at it for any type of safety?
And I would want
Construction?
the building inspector to look at what he potentially could, and the applicant must abide by whatever guidelines that he provides. So if there's something framed incorrectly, it would have to be...
Construction code.
Whatever. There you go, thank you,
Approval.
yes.
He would basically have to pull a permit.
Yeah.
Apparently, he did not pull a permit, so.
Right, and
That
in
would
this
be step
instance, the only thing that you can inspect pretty much anything on here, if you look at this picture.
There's still a few things.
Hold on,
that I
let me,
have to do.
I'll come back to it, don't worry. There's nothing on here that realistically the building inspector couldn't technically look at. So we could require him to pull all the permits for it.
Right, subject to a permit approval.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really here. I mean, realistically, even if the building inspector said, I want you to dig down to the bottom of the pad, I want to see how thick the pad is. He could grab a shovel and start digging.
Right.
And then the inspector comes out and checks the hole and makes sure everything's good. And if it's not good, then he's not approved. If it's not approved, then building needs to come down. I mean, we could put all of that on there.
He still has to follow the process, but just retroactively at this point.
Right, so, yes, absolutely. We're kind of doing this a little bit in reverse, but he caused the reverse, not us. But at least he has the ability potentially to keep this, and the village has the ability to collect the permit fees and make sure that the structure is correct.
Yeah.
And
From a
safe.
building perspective, and it's safe.
Correct.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion that we want the building to adhere to the current construction code and be inspected by the building inspector.
Permits pulled.
Permits pulled, the building can never be enclosed.
No plumbing,
No plumbing, no electrical. Anything else?
no insulation,
No
no
insulation,
drywall,
no drywall.
an open, basically
Open.
covered patio.
Yep. And no screened in either.
No screens. Did you get all that? I know we went a little quick and
Based on,
And then a motion to adhere to construction code, be inspected, permits pulled, no plumbing, no electrical, no insulation or drywall, never to be closed, no screens.
Right.
the motion is to approve based upon
Conditions.
certain legal standards on your checklist?
5 and 6.
5 and 6.
With conditions.
Yeah,
You good with that?
if that's what you're,
That's what
as long as you
I-
can justify it by some legal, you know.
Okay.
Well, it was an honest mistake of not knowing that you needed to pull a permit, that it should be okay to go through the process like
Well, I
any other
understand that.
Yeah. I mean,
resident would, that did go through the process, right?
You heard what we just said.
100%.
You're 100% in agreement in what we just said.
Yeah.
And you can live with those things that we talked about.
Yeah.
No questions.
Never been closed.
If anything gets enclosed down the road, we see anything, we have the potential of, it's an issue. You're okay with that?
100%.
Okay. You guys are okay with that? You're okay with that?
Yep. She needs to amend the second,
Because,
because I amended my motion. The motion has to be amended by the second.
Oh, I have to do it?
Yeah, you just have to say second. there.
Oh, second. I second the amendments to the
There you go.
motion.
all right. Call me last, call everybody else.
Toronto? Moretto?
Yes.
Tupper?
Yes.
Kozowski?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Minnelli.
Yes. All right. Permits, please. Talk to the village, give it a week or so, we've got to get paperwork processed, but please follow what we said. We don't want to have this conversation again, okay?
Another question.
Yes, sir.
I got a court date Tuesday over this. How does that work?
You would have to talk to the village upstairs. Yeah, that's
Oh,
way
yeah,
beyond my
that's
purview. I
beyond us.
apologize. So talk to the village upstairs. They'll have all the records of what we did here tonight. Maybe even give them until Thursday. When is your court date?
Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Next
week from
Tuesday.
today.
Yeah, just call them, what's today, Tuesday? Call them Thursday.
I talked to him last week,
I
or week
think last
before.
Monday or something.
What do you want them to do when it comes to a court date?
You can call the prosecutor and let him know that you obtained a variance.
I can do that, or?
Yeah, you can call the prosecutor anytime you want.
Do you know who the prosecutor is? Sounds like is it a
It's-
gentleman?
Yeah, it's Charles Snell is his name, but you can call the village and ask who the prosecutor is. if you
Okay,
need.
I called the courts, because
Yes.
Tabitha told me since I was going here, she was gonna have the code enforcer called to.
Then talk to
At the time.
Tabitha tomorrow and
Talk
just
to-
tell her.
Last thing you want to do is miss your court date, though.
Yeah, that's
so-
what I'm saying, I've
Yeah,
never
of
been
course.
in this predicament.
You're going to want to get something in writing from somebody saying that court date either has been dismissed
Right.
or has been
Or I
Yeah,
don't
pushed
mind
you're-
out.
going, I just don't want to pay the court fee.
You probably
if I
want to
don't
show
let
up.
it go.
Right,
You're
check,
gonna-
check with Tabitha
Yeah,
for sure.
you're gonna have to go, or get it worked out, talk to the inspector, because he's the one that, writes the ticket,
Okay.
so.
Okay, this is another question. I applied for a deck permit for the front of my house, 34 working days. Well, how long does it take to get one?
Right, I mean, we can't get out our front door.
That's not, that's
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's not anything.
Can't help you on that one.
So I
Yeah,
You're gonna have to
talk to Tony on that one. But yes, please talk to the village up there about your court date, and I'm sure they'll get it figured out for you. But please follow up, please follow what we talked about.
It'll be.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Just come over every.
Good luck, happy Memorial Day weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're going to go to the case that we were hearing the last time we were here, but we didn't have no people.
I'd like to open ZBA case 25-741, 327 Glengarry Road. Basis of the appeal is 1250.06, setback from property lines, 25-foot setback or average of adjoining properties. The average setback is 25 foot. The applicant proposed an approximate 16-foot setback to construct a new front porch.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Julian? How are you, sir? I'm good. Come on up, give your name and your address, and kind of tell us what's happening.
Julian Munoz, 327 Glengarry. So I was in the process of pulling the permit for this, and the crew, it was a mistake on my part, I'm going to take the fault in that, in not getting the permit finalized. The crew finished it up, and then that's when I started to get ticketed, and I forgot who the inspector, what his name was, but he came out and he let me know that he measured it, and it's not, they can't approve it without me bringing it back or doing a variance.
That was Tony, our inspector.
I think it was a different inspector.
Could have been Bill Bazinski.
Bill, probably.
Is it code enforcement?
Yeah, Bill is.
You could do, oh, yeah.
And then I ended up going to court like 2 or 3 times for this, trying to get the variance set up for it.
Okay. All right, anything else you want to add?
I think that the original drawings that because I have a security system at the home, so I never saw the inspector measure it, and so I believe he was going off of my measurements from my original drawing, and I made the 9 on the porch a little too small, so I think that he only subtracted because he told me 33, you measure from the structure, the home, all the way to the middle of the road, and then you subtract 33 feet, and that's how you get your setback. So I in the drawing, I put from the actual structure, from the porch to the middle of the road, which gave you that distance that was there. But if you add 9 feet, which was the porch, and subtract 33, and then subtract the porch, that's the 25-foot setback.
Which is this one that you've provided.
Yep.
And yes, our building,
Yeah, it's right there.
yeah, keep going. Yes, and our building inspector is supposed to do their own measurements.
Yeah.
We don't generally rely on
It's,
residents.
Right.
At least I hope. looks like that. And this is your drawing, just the second
Both of them
one.
are my drawings. The one that has a stamp on it from the city is my original one when I applied for the permit.
So this being your original drawing, where do you think the error would have been made based on your,
Right here.
because I see one error that would,
9 feet. I mean, this is from the porch to the middle of the road is 58, but then I didn't know, I had to add 9 feet to the actual total here, which would be 67, and then subtract 33 is 34.
Yeah.
I subtract the 9-foot porch, it's the 25-foot setback.
I kind of want to talk to Tim about this one.
You mean Tony?
Or Tony, sorry.
yeah, because
Where's the avenue?
325 or 315?
315.
I
This is 315 Glengarry, and 37.
Yeah.
don't like that.
He's basically
This
saying
one
that
says
he
325.
doesn't need.
So essentially, you're saying you don't need a variance?
Potentially, but I don't know if I have to go through this whole process again if maybe my measurements were incorrect.
So again, just talking here, I would highly recommend you get a survey done.
Got it. Everyone I've talked to, those, it's pretty expensive to get a survey for that.
Well, I mean, I don't know how we could vote on this.
Is there any way it can get measured again, or if we go
Well, that's
off-
what a survey is, you
or-
have it measured.
Wasn't he supposed to measure it originally?
He's not here, I can't ask him.
Then what if we go off of what he originally put, are we still able to go through the variance with you guys today?
Well, you're submitting this as a new document,
This was
right?
my original document.
I know,
was
but
the
you're
original.
saying this is the new calculation on it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
No, this is the original.
I know, but this is his new calculation for
I
why.
pointed out the mistake of the discrepancy
Yeah.
of him saying that. I mean, there's two different ways. I
So
see.
that's where I'm having a hard time is, I mean, I don't know exactly what we're voting on. He's saying one thing, you're saying another thing.
Couldn't we recommend to table this?
We could, but it's already been tabled once. I would rather say, go get a survey done, come back to us with a surveyed drawing, so there is no ambiguity in
Well,
terms of the
I
measurement.
don't think that's necessarily, I mean, required at this point, if the inspector can clarify for us.
Okay. So you want to table it for one more month?
So, I mean, unless you want to go forward requesting a variance, and if the board is,
So, as I
Ready
say,
to-
my issue is, I don't know how we can really vote on this.
And say if I do want to move forward with the variance and let you guys vote on it, is that something I could do too?
I mean, this is more of calculations, or this
Yeah, this
is
is-
actually just not changing the drawing? This is,
Just
I
changing the
guess I don't-
changing
No,
the
no,
calculation.
no, because it's actually there originally, in the blue ink, I don't know if you can, I can see when I'm having my own copy, in the blue ink, so I measured it from the porch
Mhm.
to the middle of the street, and then there's a 9-foot thing
He
here.
didn't add the porch to it.
I understand
So
that.
I mentioned that to the inspector, but I don't think he understood what
But
I was-
again,
We don't.
if the inspector isn't here, we can't ask him. So essentially, we don't know what he's saying the basis for him having to have a variance is, other than you didn't have a
And
permit too.
this is what they wrote down, that
Yeah,
Let me
So-
ask you this, do we know why he's not here?
no.
no,
There's not a reason why he's not here, he's just not here.
he's just not here. So again, that's my thought is, again,
I mean, if you're not comfortable, yes, with the
I kind of would like to have the correct facts.
Yeah, I
there's
you
a
know.
confusion, so.
We don't know what the variance
Yeah.
we're voting on if we don't know what the,
Well, based on if these calculations are correct, he doesn't even need a variance.
Right, exactly.
So
Yeah,
if
exactly.
that's true, and it gets reviewed by the official that would do that, and
Right.
say, okay, yes, based on this, and he looks at it, then it can just be dismissed.
Well, then
yeah,
here,
but this was.
Or it can be tabled, and then if he does review it and comes back and says, all right, we'll table it, then we'll have the.
So have you talked to the inspector in terms of this miscalculation?
He told me he wasn't going to come back and measure it, but I never saw him measure it in the first place. I've seen him drive by and look at it, take pictures, but never actually measure it. I've asked Tabitha for his phone number to talk to him. Maybe I can meet with him one day, I can show him everything. And I've got calls by blocked numbers, and then it was him, and then he told me, no, you have to do a variance meeting. So I never had a chance to actually speak with him.
Was that Tony or the?
With the other gentleman,
Oh, Bill Bazinski?
Bill Bazinski, yeah.
well,
I've never spoke to Tony yet.
Okay. Well, first of all, if this is the case, then what Bill's doing is absolutely incorrect. Bill's job, or Tony's job, is to make sure the measurements that are provided are accurate. This came from Tim's mouth years ago to me when I sat on this board.
Right.
This is not up to these folks to supply information because they're not survey people. They're just, they're kind of giving it their best guess.
Right.
But it's
Well,
up to
we can-
us to make sure.
We can, all right,
Well,
that's
hold on,
good,
though,
then we'll
because
just,
the drawing that's submitted per what is in our rules says that the drawing needs to be accurate, right?
To the best of their knowledge, but it's up to us to make sure that it's accurate. Don't you agree?
I would agree with that. However, again, if you're submitting one thing and then all of a sudden you change your calculation to the point where ultimately he wouldn't even need a variance for this.
Okay, let's just
Yeah.
verify it. Then why can't our code enforcement or
It just-
building inspector go out there? It's literally walking distance from this building
I would not disagree
and
with
just
you on that.
measure it for the guy.
to me, it just appears that the measurements are here. It's the interpretation
Yes.
of the measurements.
It's not
So-
interpretation. Measurements aren't interpretation, they're measurements. You take it from the middle of the road and you measure it to the edge of his porch. That's not interpretation, that's a measurement.
Correct.
There's no gray area there.
Well,
But
it's
again,
just
in the first
this.
submission,
I think he's admitted that he made a mistake, and, people make mistakes, but that being said, to tell this, if it's true, this gentleman was told, I'm not going to do my job and remeasure.
No, well, let's not
That's
get into,
incorrect.
that's not, this isn't
No,
really
we
appropriate.
need to, because that's the reason why this gentleman could potentially be here. If they went out and remeasured and found out that his second measurements were accurate, he's not here tonight.
Well, we don't know all the facts. We have not spoken.
Absolutely.
We're
I'm
taking
saying
what the
if.
applicant's saying, but yes.
So my
definitely.
suggestion is, we table this, have our people go out and remeasure, verify these measurements, and then we go from there.
Yeah.
Correct.
I
Do you guys approve of
I
that?
feel comfortable with that.
Kathy,
Yes.
you good with that? Have our people measure?
So I make a motion that we table ZBA case 25-741 until a village official can measure the proposed variance correctly and report back to us for the next meeting.
And we need to set a date certain at this point, which would be the next regularly
The next
scheduled
regular
meeting, which is
scheduled
in
meeting.
June.
June
It's June,
Kids in my glasses.
20th?
June 17th.
Are you available on June 17th
Yes, sir.
at this point?
Yeah.
Waited this long,
Table it
right?
So
till
just-
June 17th.
Just to confirm then, depending on the measurements, if it comes back that it is 25-foot setback and it is correct, would I no longer need a variance?
Doesn't appear so.
Right.
And then if it's incorrect, I would come back for the variance.
For the process, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, we would just like to know
So-
the accurate measurements.
Quick question, you mentioned something in terms of you didn't have an active permit when you constructed this.
I applied for the permit, but the crew finished it in the process of
So do
applying.
you
for it.
have the permit?
I wasn't able to get the permit because they wanted
So you
this.
probably will have to come back in front of us.
That's okay.
So,
But let's get the
again-
measurement.
But again, this isn't what that is, though. So it
It's
would be a
not very-
different filing
He wouldn't
altogether.
need to come back, if it met the standard.
met the standard,
He would
he
just
wouldn't
need
have to come back in front of us.
a
He would just have
building
to give us
permit
the
approval.
Then they will give them the permit.
Right.
If they would give them
If.
if they give them the building permit.
Okay.
Right.
All right, so we have a motion, we have a second?
Can I ask a quick question? So I know like on the lakefront, it takes the average of the two properties setback on the sides, right? Is that the same for the roadside?
No.
Or just the adjoining, directly adjoining?
Just adjoining.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Because the lakefronts, they could be so staggered.
Yeah.
That's why they do it, where normal neighborhoods, it's more, everything's kind of more in a parallel.
Okay.
Okay.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Roll call, please.
Kozowski,
Yes?
Tupper,
Yes.
Moretto,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Rondo, Nicoletti.
Yes, and I'm also going to say, I'm also going to go measure this for myself. So if we do come back in front of this, I would have also measured this. Because
All right.
I have that ability. All right,
Thank you so much.
give us some time, okay? Check back with, you don't really need to check back with anybody. Just, if for some reason you get notice that you're coming back in front of us and you haven't seen anybody out there, your camera hasn't shown anybody out there, reach out to the village and say, are we sure this was measured? Because I'm going to go measure this when it gets above 50 degrees at some point. So I will measure. I'm going to keep your drawings and I'm going to measure this myself.
Thank you, sir.
So if you see me on your property, that's what I'm doing.
Perfect.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Have a good night, guys.
You too. Thank you. Now you're not going to measure something.
Oh, I'm not surprised.
Well, then maybe that needs to be addressed. I don't know the guy, so I can't tell you. All right, guys, I'm sorry, let me find my other one here. Thank you.
Oh, we skipped ahead of new business.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, oops. Sorry.
What do you want?
That's weird. What? Oh, yeah.
That's
it would be-
that's my, okay, new business, vice chair for 2025. Well, we don't really have a lot of options. It's either Bonnie gets a raise and steps up, and Kathy becomes secretary.
That's
Because
fine.
those are your only options.
I feel so wanted.
And the raise meaning, you just move a chair. That's about all you get.
We leverage that, and I'm already there.
Oh, you'll
so
get the
that-
extra
So-
space.
I'm
yeah.
already there.
Bonnie, are you okay being vice chair?
I'm fine.
Meaning that if for some reason I'm not here,
I
you're
will-
taking my spot, and please
I
have
will,
it.
with respect, fill your shoes.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And
Yeah,
Kathy, you are going to be promoted to secretary. You okay with that?
Yes, I will.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Doesn't matter because you're there anyways.
By the way, I seconded that. but-
Yeah, very good. Second by Mark. Okay, we do have a new applicant, Jennifer Newman. Finally.
I feel like we're old friends. I've seen you.
Jennifer, we've already talked to you. You're still good to be on the board. You're happy. Everything's good. You don't know about the whole ice cream story. I don't have to go through that silly thing again. I will make a proposal that we send Jennifer's name to the village council for approval to join us at next month's meeting as a full, you'll be a full-time member.
I second that.
Okay, roll call, please.
Tupper?
Yes.
Moretto?
Yes.
Kozowski?
Yes.
Ronco? Duff?
Yes.
And Leddy?
Yes. When is the next council meeting?
June 17th.
Try to attend if you can, please.
June 17th.
June 17th.
Oh. Oh, sorry.
June 10th?
June 10th.
June 10th.
Oh, no, June 11th, sorry.
Eleven.
June
The
11th.
council.
June 11th. 1, 2, 3, June 11th. Okay, I will try to be there also, depending on my schedule. That is one of the last days of my daughter's school, so I will try to be there as well. I'm sure this will go nice and smooth for you, and then plan to be able to join us the following week at this meeting, okay? All right, thank you.
Good
Thank you.
timing.
Welcome.
Welcome. Okay, so new business. Oh, council, attendee, anything you want to talk
Just
about?
going through the budget stuff at the moment.
Yeah, I heard all about that. It's moving smoothly. And for anybody who doesn't know, I am actually trying to get something done on the Penny Lake water side. Trying to see if we can get some better water. Mark has been very helpful, and so has Aaron. Trying to see if we can find a solution for those folks. Full disclosure, I own a house over there my mother-in-law lives in. Water tends to be a little bit, water's good, just a lot of
Sediment.
sediment, a lot of iron. So I do appreciate everything the DPW is doing. He's looking into it, and I know he's putting in a lot of time, and I wanted to thank him again on the record for all of his help on that.
All right, so
Next,
9A.
9A, so we are going to talk about Mitchell. Mitchell did not attend our last meeting. As far as I know, as of a couple days ago, Mitchell has not reached out to me, has not reached out to anybody in the village, and I was told today that potentially he could be moving out of the state. We can't have people do a no-show, no-call, don't respond. I appreciate Mitchell's time that he has spent here. He's been on the board for a couple of years, but this has been a little bit of a pattern, and I'm going to make a motion that we remove Mitchell from the ZBA board. We do appreciate his time and effort, but we just can't have this type of actions happen. So
Yeah,
we
you
have a
have to be
motion?
reliable
that.
when you make a commitment like that.
It threatens our quorum and then
Yep.
it affects our residents.
And
It's
then we
not only
can't
your-
serve our residents.
It's not only you're committing to us, you're committing to the residents to be here. You're committing to the people out in the audience, gentleman running the camera back there. I mean, he came here for no reason. I just think, again, if something happens, hey, things do happen, there's a phone call, but I have reached out to him numerous times through Facebook, through email, and, because I do not have his phone number, and nothing. And Paige has reached out to him numerous times, and same thing, nothing. So it is what it is. We do have a motion, we do have a second. Roll call, please.
Second?
Mark.
Oh,
second. Yeah,
okay.
Mark
I
second.
thought you asked
Yep.
a second.
Any discussion? You all good?
No.
Roll call, please.
Just to clarify too, the failure to appear to meetings as required and failure to give any notice beforehand would be considered malfeasance of his
Duties.
job as a board member.
So amended.
Yep, perfect. Roll call.
Moretto?
Yes.
Schaefer?
Yes.
Rosowski?
Yes.
Nicoletti?
Yes, but I do want to go on the record to say I appreciate the time that Mitchell has spent with the board. I mean, everybody has things going on in their lives. I don't know what's happening with him, but he has put forth the effort, and I would hope the village sends him a nice thank you letter because he has spent some of his time. All right, very good. Anything else that we want to talk about? All right, so it sounds like we have something potentially coming up here.
Did you get everyone? Did everyone vote on that last
we
one?
did.
I didn't hear them.
Yes.
Yes. I do not know if we have another meeting next month, so.
We do now.
Well, we do now.
Potentially.
Well, we do if he measures.
Correct.
Yeah, we don't know.
So,
So plan on, yes, we do, unless informed otherwise.
and maybe somebody, you can reach out to make sure that
Yep.
whoever actually gets out the little tape measure, and I'm going to do it as well. So, everybody have a wonderful holiday weekend. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right.